Confirm and go live. Yes. Okay. What are we live, y'all?
Yeah,
Better?
it popped up.
Popped up. All right, y'all. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Scram Punks, episode 49. I have a good panel with me. With me here today. Hey, man, don't laugh, man. I'm stuttering and shit. I got a good panel tonight. We got some great topics to talk about, and I'm excited to start talking about these topics. But first, I have to introduce the panel, my people. MM2K, what's up, my bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on, gamers? Just, having a good time and playing my favorite game for the moment, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, yelling, cursing, and swearing. That's all.
Dying.
I just miss you screaming, die roaches.
Yeah. No, I ain't like that. Hey, when I'm doing the running and gunning, like on Borderlands 3 or something, it's die roaches. But when I'm playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it's
You gotta remember what game you're playing.
They fucking me up, man. Oh, man.
I'm looking forward to that game. Man.
I love watching it being streamed, but I know I would just totally suck at it.
It's serious. It's hardcore.
That other voice that you're hearing is our Nintendo chick.
Yes.
Snow Bunny. What's up, Snow Bunny?
Hello. How's everybody doing tonight?
Be good.
I'm good.
Be good.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I just
I'm not a PlayStation guy. I feel I'm playing.
I was stuck in Link's Awakening, and I'm just finished it.
What are your initial thoughts on that? I can't find the show, but what's your initial thoughts on Link's Awakening?
I'm loving it so far. I've got 2 dungeons left to do out of 8 before I go to the final boss.
Did you ever play the original?
No.
Okay.
Nah, I'd never played
the Game Boy version.
No, I never played the Game Boy version.
Yeah, because everybody was hyped about it because they was looking for the upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm having a blast with it. Some people are like, I'm not paying $60 for a remake of a Game Boy game. What, blasey, well, whatever. I love it. I'm having a very, very good time with it.
Sounds good to me. Thanks. Hey, we got my boy Devin. What's up, Devin? Hey, man, it's good to see you again. I don't see you and shit, but it's good to hear from you again, brother. What's going on with you, man?
What's going on, man? Just been playing games lately. I mean, I was playing Rainbow Six Siege on PC earlier. The other day, I was playing The Last of Us Remastered because I got it for free. Gears 5 a little bit. I've just been all over the place playing all type of games.
Hey, that's cool, man. The Last of Us, phenomenal game. I love that game, bro.
Yeah,
and last but not least, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just going through the single player again.
Oh shit, yeah, that's the single player is dope. That's one of my favorite games.
You need to be going through the multiplayer again because that's the last you're gonna get.
Shit.
I told you I was trying to play it earlier. Twitter was refusing me to tweet about it. I was looking for people.
Yeah.
Damn. Hey, Tsunami. Hey,
you got it right.
Throwing shots. Yeah, I finally got it right because Mark said it before I started the podcast. What's up, bro? Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Yeah, man. I saw you guys popped in. I was like, oh shit, it's today. So let me. You always say hop in, so I hopped in.
Sounds good to me.
Tsunami.
Sounds good to me. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and get this shit started. I'm trying to tweet this out right quick. Give me a quick second, y'all.
I need to tweet it too.
While you guys are tweeting it out, because we're all doing that, if we can kindly ask everybody in the
hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're an Xbox guy, then y'all need to be following Dirt or you're a fraud. And I just got one rant before we get going. What I need to do, and I always rail off on Xbox, and I'm kicking Phil's ribs in. But what I need to know from Google is how the fuck does Google don't work with YouTube? Why I gotta refresh the screen 35 goddamn times in order to find a YouTube video to pop up? This don't make any goddamn sense. You're the richest company in the world. I'm gonna use the same language I use on Microsoft. You're the richest company in the world. This don't make any fucking sense. Yeah, I'm cussing you out on your own platform, even though it's Dirt's channel. I'm cussing you out. Figure it out, Google. I'm sorry.
That's because you're using an Android phone. That's why.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I forgot to get that iPhone.
Don't start Android versus Apple.
Don't even get that one started.
Yeah, it was crazy in the DM.
Yeah, man. Damn. Hey, which one was you, Tsunami? You Apple or Android, bro?
Oh no, I'm Apple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Honestly, my work phone.
I can't be a bot twice.
You can't be a bot. Okay. But you know what? My work phone is an Apple. My personal phone is a Galaxy. So they do the same.
Oh, so
shit.
he's trying to flex. He's trying to say I got both, so I could. See you pulling the king thrash.
I'm a neutral. I mean, I prefer Android.
I got both.
But, but they do the same shit. You ask me, to be honest.
When it comes to technology, man, I like to know that I can do whatever the fuck I want when I want to. I don't like Apple. I don't like the Steve Jobs ambiance telling me, no, you can't do that. Well, pay for that. No, I don't like that. So.
Nah, that's the perception. Years ago, that was true. Recently, they took it down on so many barriers. Like, it's basically an Android. Like if you were an iPhone user back in the day and you saw this iPhone, you would think it's an Android.
Yeah. I mean,
can you use universal USB ports to charge it?
Hell no.
Shit.
Can you plug in your headphones?
You gotta have shit.
Okay, first of all, headphones is gone.
Hold on, yo. We can
have on Samsung too.
We can have
Pixel is gone.
Yeah. We can have.
Why are we talking about cell phones?
I could buy 2 game systems
because streaming is coming. Streaming is coming. We need to get these phones in order.
Man.
Apple versus Android. Oh shit.
If I'm not driving in a car, I'm working, which means I have no time to bother about streaming a game to my phone. So I don't need to know about any of it.
Oh no, you have a whole Switch. That's on the go.
Yeah, but I mostly don't play mine on the go because when I'm out, I'm busy. I mostly play mine docked unless I'm in my house and I'm in different rooms from where my TV is.
Oh, okay,
so
Now take that, Tsunami.
You better off with a home console then.
Shit. Don't come in with your shit, Tsunami.
A home console. A home console. When I do travel with my Switch, it's like I'm going to somebody's house. A Switch is very easy to break down and connect to somebody else's TV. Like I could literally fit the whole thing in a purse. The dock, the cables, everything in a purse. Which makes it very easy to transport.
xCloud on iOS coming soon.
All right, man. Y'all done talking about phones and shit.
I've been done. I don't know why we on it.
I don't even know why we started.
Oh shit! Hey, BC, you started Tsunami. Well, anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and get. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Regarding PlayStation, actually, it could be negative to some people, but it could be positive to others, and it could be
I don't see how it's negative.
And it could be who gives a shit to many people.
No, it could be fruition. That's the perfect word for it. Fruition. That's all it is.
Okay.
I'm just curious if people are getting headhunted. That's all I want to know.
Well,
there's a lot of egg on face.
Egg on face. Yeah. Hey, you know what? So let's go ahead and get started. So. I'm sorry, not Jim Ryan. Shawn Layden is gone, man. He gone, right? Now, we didn't know why.
In a very odd way.
Yeah, right. But we didn't know initially why he left. Was he fired? Did he retire? Did he quit? And of course, some PlayStation guys are saying, no, he just stepped down. He retired. I saw one guy say he retired. He retired.
Jay Manhattan. Jay Manhattan. He was like, he's 58 years old. He want to retire in peace.
Yeah. I saw some
Japanese guy.
I saw.
He retired, but he old too.
Not the other guy video. But I saw some PlayStation guy on like Twitter say that shit. Like, no, he retired, and I think it was an FC Vinyl. He was like, how you know? And the guy was like, well, so, man, some made up shit. So anyway, was it today or yesterday? Well, it came out that him and Jim Ryan, who was recently promoted, was it last year he was promoted, Moss? Jim Ryan?
Yeah, I think it was last year, yep.
Hey, man. They was butting heads. They didn't agree on some shit. And Shawn Layden said, you know what? Kiss my ass. I'm out of here. or they told him, get your little short Danny DeVito looking ass out of here. So there was an article that said Sony power struggle may have forced Layden out. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, Moss, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think about this? Is this like a big deal, or is this really nothing? It's just shit happens like this all the time in business.
Oh yeah, shit happens like this all the time. There's nothing to see unless it's Xbox. Here's the reality though. We're gonna get out of Bizarro land. Here's the reality. Whether you want to consider this good news or bad news, it's news. I'm gonna tell you why it happened. I got up 8 a.m. What was it, Dirt? 8 a.m. The following day, just so I can get a leg up on everybody waking up in the morning and say, look, I'm going to tell you before the news drops why this happened, because this is how the Fortune 500 world works. You know what I'm saying? Like when there's, first and foremost, you got to understand how Sony operates. Jack Trenton told you that. Remember when Hip Hop Gamer said, oh, Jack, now that you're doing your own thing, would you ever work with Sony? And he said, I had some good years at Sony, but nah, Sony's all about Sony. This is Jack Trenton. You know what I'm saying? Right. He said that about Sony. So here's what happened. If you do your homework, Shawn Layden, way back in the day, when they did the whole Indies thing, that was targeted because they knew they had nothing coming on the horizon. So they targeted indies and they boosted up indies. They were riding the media wave and the fan wave about what they had to say. They had a mind share, so they boosted up indies. It was easy for them to get indies. Interesting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they did that. Once they knew that their shit was about to release, then what Shawn Layden did is he went to Japan. And he went to Japan and he said, hey, look, guys, I know we scorned you on the PlayStation 3, and therefore we made it to where you making games on the console was horrible. And y'all went to making mobile games. Come back. We need you now. And once he got them all to start signing up, and he was getting the Neos and the Platinum Games shit and all that other stuff. Then they dumped the indies. He admitted this in an interview that they dumped the indies and they focused on their second party Japanese titles and the first party games that came out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then what happened in 2018? Here comes the Xbox One X. The PlayStation 4 Pro didn't do what they thought it was going to do. People were excited about the Xbox One S. Remember, the Xbox One S had won like 3 or 4 NPDs in a row in 2000. 4 in a row. 4 in a row in 2017. Then you got the 16. X coming out. It was 16. Okay. Yeah. Then you got the X coming out in 2017. So then the people at PlayStation were like, "Oh no, fuck this!" So they were going to put their neck on Microsoft's. Or they were going to put their foot on Microsoft's neck through any means possible. Shawn Layden went all in. They spent so much money, so many resources. They didn't spread their titles out like PlayStation normally does. You know what I'm saying? They put all their bargaining chips in 2018. 2019 was going to be loosey-goosey, and they were hoping to rebound in 2020. That's why you don't have any fanfare in 2019, because they knew that 2019 was going to be flat, not as far as gamers are concerned, but financially in the stock market. Remember, investors said at the beginning of this year, do not invest in Sony because their gaming portfolio looks weak. They knew that in advance, so they cut all their shows so their revenue in the black would be high, so they wouldn't have much debt. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of is working, except for the mind share. They're getting bad press. Days Gone didn't get the press that they thought it was going to get. Death Stranding, people are looking at that with a funny eye. And now The Last of Us 2 has a woes over the multiplayer. Not saying that Death Stranding and what's the name ain't going to do good, but they have no bargaining chips to go back to the investors with. Sony is all about Sony. So in this power struggle with Shawn Layden and Jim Ryan is doing the backstabby Fortune 500 thing and saying, look, you following this motherfucker, we looking bad out here. Look, let's do this. Let's do this cloud gaming thing. The investors like this, and trust me, we're going to look better with mindshare. Sony, listen to Jim Ryan. Shawn Layden is gone. Look what happened as soon as Shawn Layden was escorted out the door. They released cloud gaming. PSN Now went down half. Jim Ryan got all these interviews. This is not all a coincidence. So I'm going to say this and shut up. This is while I'm doing all this babble. There is a reason why Sony and all these gaming companies do stuff. And what dictates what Sony's going to do is not investors. Not me. Not your grandma playing on that might play Last of Us 2 with you. The investors. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers this for the last 2 years, and y'all don't want to listen. And y'all gonna sit on that mountaintop and feel stupid again when Sony drops day and date. I'm warning y'all. That
shit.
Do not get your hopes up that Sony is going to cling on to hopes and aspirations for you. They listen to the market. They just use us as the consumer to help invigorate the relationship with the investor. All and companies do this. So the market dictates what Sony does, not your fanboy war. They just use you for marketing. But as far as what they do, the final print, the final thing that they sign is all based on the market, period.
Mm-hmm. Facts, brother.
Damn, you said that somebody would play Last of Us 2 with you.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Hey, Moss, I'm gonna be honest for a second, bro. When you started, like going on your field bashing spree, man, that shit kind of hurt. When you did like a whole month full of bashing Xbox and bashing field spree, so I was like, damn, man. I was like, damn, Moss.
He said he an ambulance chaser. He followed the bad news.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, come on, Moss, man.
2 days for 3 hours.
Because Moss is a talented guy, right? And I was kind of like, man, he too good for this shit, man. I know Phil ain't been the greatest, but you don't got to keep on saying that shit, But it's good to see this version of MM2K back. I like this version. I'm just being honest here. But anyway, Devin knows, like Snowbunny, what y'all think about this? I'm sorry, I call both of y'all names and shit. Snowbunny, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm just waiting to see what happens because I've noticed like somebody on Twitter had brought it up, but a lot of people have been going to Sony, leaving Sony, and been going to or other corporations in the gaming field. Mm-hmm. So if this was just like Layden leaving, it's not him retiring, because if it was like him retiring, look at what happened with when Reggie
exactly
from Nintendo retired.
They would have
said did a whole press thing.
Thank you.
He even came out and said on his personal Twitter, he came out and said he enjoyed working for Nintendo and this, that, and the other, and that now he just wants to spend more time with his family and things. He's like working at going around the universities, talking, giving motivational speeches and
like
stuff.
There's a transition.
So when he left, they made a big deal. Nintendo sent him off in the sunset. Exactly. Before he left, we knew who the new person was. That was Doug Bowser. And putting it in. Mm-hmm. So it was like whatever this is that happened right now was sudden with Layden. And we don't know what happened behind the scenes because even Layden hasn't even said anything on his Twitter about it.
Trouble in Paradise.
I mean, it's just like only people we got is PlayStation saying this, but there's nothing else being said. We don't know who's the person stepping in completely. Mm-hmm. Right now, we know we have an idea, but it hasn't been officially made yet. There was usually when Reggie announced he was being retiring, they announced that like around December. Mm-hmm. January. It was months to prep everybody up for it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this was sudden. I don't know what happened, but I'm curious to know. But
well, there's some information coming out about this, about what happened. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jim Riley didn't see eye to eye. So what you think about it, Devin?
I think it's pretty weird how two top guys in Sony's industry just happened to leave the company within 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Well, but one of them actually did retire, all right.
Yeah, he retired.
I mean, you can make that
argument. It might have been a forced retirement.
Even if he did retire, it doesn't matter. It's not coincidence that happened within 24 hours.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick? And then I'm Devin. You can finish. I'm so sorry. I just want to put this all in perspective. The reason why I say it's very plausible that the guy that left in Japan didn't do it is that there are quarterly actions like this. Like in my company, when we purge people of this nature, we usually do it in March and April, and then October and September, and then the last time is like around November and December. And not just we, a lot of Fortune 500 companies do it because their fiscal years usually end around that time. So when you see two high-powered people leave at the same time, they were either laid off or they were asked for their resignation, you know what I'm saying, for budgeting reasons. You know what I'm saying? So it could have just been that Shawn Layden just wasn't aware of his coming down the pike, and the Last of Us 2 debacle was the final ink in the deal. They work with their HR and their lawyers, and they say, okay, Shawn Layden's gone, and they knew it was going to be a big deal. It was a surprise to him, so they don't mention it to him until that day. And then the same thing with the other guy. So we don't know for sure until we get definitive word, but I'm letting you guys know from experience. This is how it usually works. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Devin.
I like that more people are coming to Xbox for the initiative. Like people coming from Sony and going over to the initiative.
Yeah.
Yes. And well, not necessarily Layden, but you never know. And there's a bunch of talk about Apple still, and people rumoring around that Sony's setting up for a buyout.
Or even him going to Stadia, I heard.
But I do have one question. What day was it announced? What day was it announced that Layden left?
Oh, was it a couple days ago?
I think it was 2 days ago.
It was like
2 days ago.
And see, and that's super odd because usually if people so whatever happened, it was like super sudden because usually, and Moss, you can back this up or you know what I'm talking about. Usually when a company gets rid of somebody, they do it on a Friday.
Well, it could have been on a Friday, but we didn't know about it till Monday.
No, but what I'm saying is
well, he's salary, so maybe
no. Sometimes it happens on Monday.
Yeah, Monday salary might be
because they don't want you. They don't want to retire. Yeah, if your salary, you get paid not by the hour, but by you just being there, then they're gonna toss your ass on a Monday, which this happened on a Monday, right? Mm-hmm. Or Tuesday.
Yeah.
This happened on Monday. Yeah,
Monday.
It might have happened on the weekend and just announced it on
that
Monday.
Yeah, no, they let this. No, I'm telling you. Look, this is how we do it. I can't say too much. You know what I'm saying? Without getting myself in trouble. When you have I remember we had a high level exec, and we really needed this motherfucker, right? And we knew that everybody was going to be devastated when they were gone. We just came in one day. They got rid of him early in the morning. We came in, they rounded us all up. So and so was gone. Motherfuckers crying, oh shit, and everybody going through the motions, right? And then they do it on a Monday because they feel like that there could be some serious blowback. And what they do is they sit that person down and say, hey, look, we gotta let you go, but we're gonna take care of you. Here's the thing: you're under NDA. Because you're under NDA, you can't say any bad thing about us. As long as you don't say any bad thing about us, your severance package is under an insurance. A lot of y'all don't understand that. A severance package is now under an insurance, and there's stipulations to that insurance. One of the stipulations is you cannot speak negatively about the firm. If you speak negatively about the firm, you lose your severance package. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed anymore. So that's why you don't hear nothing from Shawn Layden, and that's why it happened on a Monday. A lot of the times this shit happens on a Monday. The excellent point that y'all brought this up. I'm more than convinced now that he didn't just leave, that they let him go.
Because like I said, I know with like in some corporation worlds, like where my mom was, because she used to handle that type of stuff when she used to work at, it would be a Friday evening that they would sit them down, have the security there to clean out their desk so they don't show back up on Monday morning.
What's up, Tsunami? What you got?
Capo said in the chat, he said, MM2K, answer me this. Why haven't on PlayStation 4 and Xbox gotten EA Access Premier? Because EA Access, because they haven't gotten it because PlayStation nor Xbox would never ever allow that service on there. It's a direct competitor with PlayStation Now and with Game Pass. They would never allow Premiere on there. Can you imagine if Premiere? I mean, again, let's not go by what MM2K thinks about Game Pass or PlayStation Now. If you could get EA games, Madden, FIFA, day and date, and you got a choice to make. Am I going to go with EA Access Premier or Game Pass? Who do you think wins that battle? Who do you think wins?
It depends. Honestly, I think it depends because some people just don't like only EA games.
But the vast majority of people are casuals and they don't.
But with Game Pass, you have a variety. So I think it depends on the gamer.
It depends on the gamer, but but I'm saying numbers wise, we know the majority of gamers play.
Yeah, because if you buy Madden every year and you buy FIFA every year, then those two alone they just be worth it.
Well, they're all fighting for the same dollar. And again, I'm not saying what's the better quality. And don't get me wrong, when you hear MM2K say Game Pass is trash, I'm talking about it's trash for the casuals. I love it. I had Origins. I had Origins for a week, and then after I went through most of the content on Anthem, I got rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And I still have Game Pass. I'm talking about for the masses. Okay, the masses, and generally they would go with what's it called? Because the masses are superficial. Okay, they don't. Quality ain't no thing. They have their superficial things, and they stick to them. So Xbox nor PlayStation would never allow Premiere on there. So that's why it's not there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they would probably also undercut them. The Premiere would undercut like the Xbox and the PS Now. They'll undercut the price.
Either that, or they would have to like take a big percent to allow it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't think EA would be. And I don't think EA would be for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
But as far as the whole Sony structure and stuff, both of those guys being out, like honestly, I would be okay with it, or it would be less suspicious if it was like right after a launch of the new console, like close out the generation with who you got and then launch with somebody new. That would be the ideal way to, switch hands. But a year before launch, you have your biggest game coming out in a couple months. That's spooky. That don't look right. So that makes me feel like this was not all peace in the Sony headquarters. Like, even though people love them to death and even though they're so successful, that doesn't mean in the background they're not scared to death about their future, because next generation starting and they have a whole new set of competitors, a whole new metric of success, and they're behind.
Who got the article up? Look, Jim. Okay, Shawn Layden is more under the table, behind the curtain. We're gonna make the magic happen. You just gonna see the end result. Jim Ryan is more in your face, and the more in your face people kind of fuck up more. I think he reminds me of Joe Biden. You know how people say Biden always says crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he's
foot in his mouth.
Yeah, put his foot in his mouth. That's Jim Ryan. So Jim Ryan doesn't believe. He believes in transparency, like it or not. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like Phil almost.
Yeah, Phil to it exactly. It's like Phil, but with somewhat of a different gaming philosophy. Yeah. So Jim Ryan said it himself that he believes that Sony cannot be complacent. He said the expectation that the previous console winner is automatically going to win the next generation is very slim. This is his belief. It's very slim. He said, so you cannot be complacent. And the slides that Jim Ryan presented to the investors, again, the investors are number one to a Fortune 500 company. Fuck what they tell you on the PSX stage, okay? That's just to get y'all riled up. All they can do is say some bullshit, and y'all run the social media and regurgitate that shit. But to investors, that's what the real meat and potatoes are. To the investors, Jim Ryan said that the new mainstream way that they're going to do their shit next generation is going to be through software, through discs, and through services. So day and date is coming. There's nothing you could do about it besides boycott PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's going to work.
And then you can even look at other people that's been in the game industry. David Jaffe said the same thing on Z Podcast. He said you'd be crazy to think they won't do something to try to keep up.
Yep.
Just because they're successful. That's like,
well, they do it the exact same way.
Blockbuster was untouched in the disc market. Netflix came around and said, you know what, we're gonna do some online shit. They came to the party too late, and what happened to Blockbuster?
Boom. Hey, I got another example, Salami. Yeah. BlackBerry.
Oh,
they shit. Another one. That was my favorite. Phone. Remember, they was the most popular phone until the iPhone came out, and they was like, "Nah, people still love BlackBerry." Okay,
we don't need the apps. We don't need all them apps. We got security.
Like
we got a keyboard
on their screen. I heard somebody. I heard a BlackBerry fan say people don't want to type on their screen.
Exactly.
Okay.
I know in the Fortune 500 world, not working off a BlackBerry was stupid. I remember when I first got all right, this was, I want to say 2003 or 4. This is when I first got like high, I'll say semi VP position, right? And so I was younger at the time. So this was good 15 years ago. I was younger at the time. And all the older cats had their Blackberries. I had a smartphone. I'm working off my smartphone. These motherfuckers looking at me like they pull me to the side. I don't know if you want to. That doesn't look professional. I said, look, I connected the smartphone to the database that can do this, do that, print that. Don't you know, like 3 months later, everybody else in my floor started converting to a smartphone because I was able to connect it to our database.
Well, to be fair, Blackberries were smartphones. They just were limited.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're very limited. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were very restricted.
But you can't. But the point is BlackBerry got so cocky, saying, "Oh well, we don't need to change. We don't need."
They got and then when they did, it was too. Then when they did, it was too late. Then we did because what happened was they touted security. You can't get viruses, you can't get breached and all this stuff. And then Apple came out and said we're just as secure as them. And then all of a sudden people started saying, okay, well this does more. It looks better. It's cooler. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the new thing. And then all of a sudden when Android started coming around with their security, which is still not iPhone level security, but people started, saying, oh, I can do this with this device, these apps, all this stuff. I can do what? Oh, okay. We have to figure out how to make this work in our ecosystem. And that's what they did. And BlackBerry said, oh, well, we got BBM. That's the best way to communicate. That was the old iMessage. iMessage is fire. That's how BBM used to be. Everybody in the world would be on BBM talking. They wouldn't even be texting each other. And you could assume that everybody had a BlackBerry in the business world. So basically, they thought they had a lock on this on the market, and then it trickled down to the casual person, and then all of a sudden the casual started moving on, and then it trickled back up to the business people. So like they didn't change fast enough. Like they tried at the end to the point where when I was at T-Mobile, they had an Android. They had a BlackBerry Android. It was dog shit, but they tried, and it was too late.
And it was too late.
Desperation. It was
desperation.
Let's
say this right quick. The Almighty Spartan guy, what's up, homie? He say, I know Xbox dudes having fun with the PS Now news, but y'all know Sony follows in the footsteps of Game Pass. PS Now is going to grave Game Pass. Hey, I think it's enough room for both of them. To be honest with you,
yeah, they're not enough for like yet. Streaming is still not an optimal way to play a game.
I will say this. Regardless of what y'all think, I'm almost brought to tears, man. The Almighty Spartan God, God bless you for making that turnaround, brother, because you was talking spooky a couple months ago like it wasn't going to happen. I'm glad you have come to the oasis, good brother. Yes, regardless, and I'm in the one to where I do think PlayStation Now would have a leg up on it at this state it is now, but that could all change. But with that said, we need more people like the Almighty to come to the oasis. Come drink the truth water. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to happen. I just want to read this real quick.
All right.
Let me read this. Let me read this real quick. Jim Ryan, quote, and then I want to get Devin's thoughts on this too. The track record of the incumbent platform winning the next time around is not a great one. Jim Ryan says, so the major thrust of my executive energy is to avoid complacency, end quote.
Okay. And just like Z said, you have to start believing these people at their face. If they tell you something, believe it. Like that's what they're thinking. That's what their goal is. But regardless of what the fanboys think, regardless of what the media outlets think, if the head of the fucking company is saying it, you better take some stock in it.
Y'all know what? At the end of the day, man, we always say that, or I always say that I'm a guy that fully embraces technology. I always say that. And we're in 2019 and things change, right? How many things are still traditional nowadays? Like cars are like, you still drive the same way, but look, how many cars come with CD players now? Pretty much none, right? None. So things are changing, man. And I think Sony is too smart of a company to be left behind. They're not going to be left behind like, well, I know PS Now. I mean, well, Nintendo is the only company. They don't give a shit. They have their cult following, but Sony's not going to say, well,
Xbox. Think about how much bigger Nintendo could have been if they did adopt some of those, just a couple of them.
Right, true. Yeah, like with some of the online shit that they're so far behind on. But it's Sony, man, listen, man. I know people don't want to believe it, but just think about it for a second. I know Spider-Man and God of War sales great. Those games sell phenomenal. They do. But what if they can get consistent money every month? They have 15 million PS Now subscribers. That's consistent revenue every month, even in between games.
And it will outweigh the 10 million, even the 10 million.
It will.
Yeah.
That's
10 million games sold is great, but that's nothing compared to 100 million people out there.
Facts. Thank you.
Like if you get half of your base to hop on this service,
yes,
that's 50 million people compared to 10.
Do the math.
Hey, Tsunami, I saw some PlayStation guys say, well, it will devalue our game. So you're telling me if Naughty Dog next game is in PS Now, it's going to be trash all of a sudden? Is that what you're telling me? You know what I'm saying? That's the faith they have in Sony developers. They are the best. Man, Sony has some of the best development studios in the world. All of a sudden, they're going to be trash. Sony's PS Now? Come on now.
Sony's tactic is, I'm going to make a great game so you can come to my platform and then buy other games that we can get commissions on. They don't care as much. As far as right now, they don't care as much as you as long as you're in the ecosystem buying games on their platform. That's where they're making more money than the actual sales of their games. Because if they go out and buy Madden every year, guess what? Sony is still getting a part of that every year. So if they buy Madden on PlayStation versus Xbox, they're benefiting more. So they draw you in with the exclusives, and they get money from the third parties. So what's going to happen now with services? Xbox is trying to lock you to their ecosystem to where it feels like a necessity, like an Amazon Prime, like a Netflix, where you just let it stay there.
A necessity, exactly. That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why these companies always give out free trials, bro, because they want you to try it out. Hopefully, never cancel it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want, man.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but that also goes back to something Sony said like last year or a year before. I can't remember when, but they were saying that, you know how they're always making a whole bunch of games because they know out of everything that they're making, something's going to not be as popular as something else. Like they're always making games and they're always testing it and trying it out. But if they have like a service-based subscription, okay, the ones that weren't that popular being sold, guess what? They might get more traffic on a subscription base.
That's exactly what happened on Game Pass. Yeah.
I mean, so they might get more traffic that way, but it still depends on and what they're doing is they're only leaving the games up. Like right now, they're saying God of War is going to be out for 3 months.
Yeah.
They're going they're doing more like how Netflix does things.
Not necessarily. Netflix keeps all of their original content always. They keep third-party stuff, rotating. So this is
but what I'm saying is they're making it so that they have their big games on there, but it's not on there all the time. So if they rotate it every 3 months or so with something different, if somebody jumps in late, they're like, "Oh, I want to play God of War." Oh, God of War ain't up here right now.
See,
and if they keep
go ahead.
I'm saying if they keep it so that nobody knows when something's going to come up, people join and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna wait and see when it happens."
Well,
that's gonna have backlash because there's gonna be people that subscribe and then a day later it's gone. No, they have to announce it ahead of time.
I think they're gonna announce ahead of. But what that's going to do is that's a smart business model for Sony and for all the PlayStation people that think, oh, it's going to devalue the console. No, I think it's smart because if you have a rotation and in 2 weeks, God of War is going to go off the service and you're not going to beat it in 2 weeks, then you buy it. And maybe what they do is they give it to you at a discount because you're part of the service. Then that gives the console value. You see what I'm saying? So,
and then.
With that being said, there's a model for everybody. But let me just say this real quick. Also, too, we as gamers, we created where something like this may not necessarily be this exactly, but something like this is a necessity. Here's why. Games are getting more and more expensive to make. They done went from 25 million to 100 million to 150, 200 million. And all we want to pay is $60. We fought microtransactions and loot boxes. We're fighting all this and all this other stuff. I done got it to big up to my homie Jay Fonzarelli, but Jay Fonzarelli thinks that any loot box or microtransaction is a sin against God and you're burning babies alive, right?
No.
So with that being said, these companies can't make any money, but you want bigger and badder games. So they got to find new revenue streams. So we gotta be careful with our words and how we attack stuff, because at some point in time, if we cut off any possible revenue stream, even though it's not going to affect us, just for argument's sake, then yeah, you're going to see $80, $90, $100 games.
Like the Super Nintendo days.
No. When I say cheap games, I mean cutting back on the quality so they can save money on production.
Or that.
Yeah, because guess what? As giant and as beautiful as some of these Sony games are, they cost a fucking lot. So if you only got 10 million people buying it, and I would say most of them aren't buying it at full price, because after 2 months it's 40, after a half year is 30, 20, after a year. So they're, even if they sell 10 million, they're not getting 60 million out of it. Right. Those games sometimes cost $100 million to make.
Right. Or more.
So with Sony, and this is where people like to bash on Microsoft, they have a multiplayer component that will keep people around. People are still playing the Forzas of the world, the Gears of the world for years after. Even Sea of Thieves, people are still playing Sea of Thieves, and much people trash it. Mm-hmm. And then also by having it string them along, and since they're multiplayer games, that means it has to be attached with the Xbox Live service. PlayStation doesn't have to be a PS Now account to enjoy any of those games. So that's where they're lacking the makeup money, because you have no multiplayer, you have no microtransactions that people want. So you can only basically get your money from the actual game. So guess what? You might not like Forza. Forza is forcing people to have Xbox Live the entire time, Xbox Game Pass the entire time, and then if you want the expansion passes or you want the extra shit, you can pay for that if you want. But that's 3-4 different revenue streams that Sony only has one.
What's your thoughts on this, Devin?
I like that I can play PlayStation games on PC.
At 720p with latency.
With an Xbox controller.
No, not for the next 3 months, period.
Listen,
I hate the PlayStation controller, man.
Yeah, that's why legit. You know what I've been doing online? I've been building an elite PlayStation controller. Like, you can actually get the parts and put all the Xbox components in it to make it feel like an Xbox controller.
No, that's what I'm doing. That controller? There's a PlayStation controller out there that looks exactly like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, it costs $200 though.
It has bad latency though.
Yeah, and it costs $200. They actually have an adapter that you can plug in, and it basically makes it think that your Elite controller is a PlayStation controller, and it costs like $30. So if you're interested in that, I think it's called I forgot what it's called, but you can do it to the Switch. You can do it to the Switch and the PS. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, the Zim 4 and Zim Apex. That's how they be hopping on Xbox or PlayStation and hooking up their keyboards, and the game thinks that you're using a controller, but you're actually using a keyboard, so they be cheating online and shit.
Yeah. Well, even now, like Xbox and PlayStation, they're including keyboard and mouse into the ecosystem, but maybe not like filtering. Yeah, maybe filtering out as far as like gameplay. Like you can like Fortnite, you can say only controller players, even if you want to have crossplay, only crossplay me with controller players, and kick out the keyboard players.
Yeah.
If you can circumvent that, then that's kind of cheating.
I hear you there, but the Zim 4 and the Zim Apex and like shit like that, it makes the system, the game system, think that you're on a controller when you're really on a. It's cheap as hell, and they get a distinct advantage because they're using mouse and keyboard.
Hey, Tsunami, there's somebody in the chat calling you out, bro, saying your math wrong, bro.
He said, "Where did you get 60 million from? Where did Tsunami say 60 million? What was you saying 60 million about?"
No, I'm saying
talking about if it was like 10 million people buying a game at $60 each, you left off a zero. I think
I was taking down the amount because of how many people buy with a discount. I was just throwing out a number.
Yeah.
Big ups to who was that? Somebody just followed.
It said Philip. Philip Morris. I thought he Morris. Did he join 2 weeks ago?
I thought he did.
He joined and he unsubscribed my ass and he subscribed.
Yeah, he subscribed back. Hey, we appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
But that's what I was saying about Gears. Have you guys heard what happened? Well, right now with Gears 5 on Game Pass, they released a day and date on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about a week or two or so after they doubled all of the microtransaction costs.
Yeah, what was up with that though?
That's what happened. They put it on
How
there
much
and then
are
about
they?
a month. I don't I saw a video on it, but
I think it
they
was like 20
yeah,
20
but
for
they
what though?
for a
like
whole
I
skin
think for
pack.
certain
Like,
skins, yeah, for packs.
yeah.
no. That's the skin packs. I'm talking about like the iron and
Yeah,
stuff that you could
yeah,
buy.
like the
Oh yeah.
I did
They
notice that. I read
yeah,
about that.
they
Only
increased
reason.
the price of all of it. But you have to think about it. How are they going to make their money back from making that expensive game?
Yeah.
If it's in Game Pass and not that many people bought the full game, you're going to have
Only thing I,
microtransactions to
only thing I
balance
can
that
think.
out.
Only thing I can think why they boosted it so much was that it was doing so well. And typically, when something's doing well, they up the price. Typically, when something's doing bad, you don't up the price. So maybe so many people were buying iron. They said, you know what? Let's see how much people really want this iron, and they double the price, which is a very capitalistic thing to do. But if people won't buy it, they buy Fortnite skins for $20 each.
Like I said, these are Fortune 500 companies. So that's why Microsoft changed its litmus, because they're going to lose. They're investing right now. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. Money. They're going to purge more money than they're going to get in.
That's why it's a long-term goal.
It's a long-term. It's like Disney losing $1 billion over the next until 2022, I think it is, to get people to sign on to their service. But we know Disney prints money, so we're not worried about Disney, right? So at the same
that's
time,
the part. That's the part. Disney has the money to back it up. Xbox has Microsoft to back them up if they want to do something drastic and they have to take a loss for several years. Sony doesn't necessarily have that backing because the rest of Sony Corporation isn't that. It's not doing that well.
It's trash.
Well, people don't want to believe it because it's Sony, but Sony, like as a whole, isn't doing great outside of PlayStation and Spider-Man.
Where are them Sony products at? Where are them speakers at?
But to their credit, they don't need to. Like Microsoft has to convince people come to our ecosystem. I don't think PlayStation has to.
No, the reason why I say that is because, like I said before, even though it might be very hard to do and even not expected, one slip up and that's your whole business. Microsoft can fuck up and say we're gonna stick it out.
Yeah, we got Windows.
I mean, yeah.
And even if Microsoft screws up, they could just be like, well, I'm gonna shut down
because let's not forget, PlayStation 3 lost $2 billion over its life.
Yeah,
as much as they sold, they lost $2 billion. So let's not just sweep that under the rug. Like you can be successful and still fail.
Yeah.
And you can get hacked into your account and lose millions of dollars.
Or you can be kicked off of online for a month.
I don't. Look, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon.
Y'all being messy.
Hey, listen, it's an Xbox Pro podcast. I have to combat the anti-Xbox podcast in the world.
Hey, D Almighty, I might have to get in the G-Rap with you on that one, brother. I ain't gonna talk shit on that because Xbox Live been dog shit. But no.
Hey, listen, a couple hours is not a couple weeks.
Did you lose your money though?
Did you have to get a new debit card?
I mean, no, I didn't. But look. I will say
he wasn't buying digital back then like that.
I will say PlayStation security. No, it was bad. PlayStation security it's not the greatest. But Facebook. At the same time, unfortunately for Microsoft, and I think they're realizing that that's why Xbox Live isn't as stable as it used to be, is even though Microsoft had all the best multiplayer, this and that wasn't enough to sell it over PlayStation. So PlayStation now was good enough. It may not be the best, but it's good enough.
Yeah, is that the reason? As far as go ahead.
Is that the reason PlayStation only makes single player exclusives?
I mean, but you got to take it into consideration.
So trash.
See, y'all making me a PlayStation defender. See. Look, most people that play multiplayer, they play where? Let's be honest, where they play
with their friends.
PC.
No. Yeah. No, they play it on PlayStation. But they're playing on PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta keep
playing. What
the PlayStation diehards are more single player diehards than they are multiplayer, opposed to the opposite on Xbox. Yeah, but I'm talking about the majority of gamers and collective. Most of the multiplayer happenings are happening.
Share numbers, yeah, of course. Share numbers.
Party game.
True Witty. Hey, True Witty got a point. during the 360 era, Xbox Live never went down like that.
Facts. That's what I'm saying.
It really didn't. It really didn't.
Okay, so here's my damage control. You ready?
Okay.
The speeds are way slower back in the 360 era. The bit rate was slower. The file sizes were so much smaller. Playing online was less of a toll.
Tsunami.
Bunny about to get you, bro.
Bunny, wait. You have Nintendo Online, so go ahead.
No. I already know Nintendo Online is trash, but here's the thing: you're up here defending Microsoft with the slower rates and everything, but don't they have the Azure cloud?
No, I said
don't they have
no, wait, Bunny.
No.
I said 360 was slower.
But the 360, it never went down. That's our point. But now it's going down, and they have one of the best
all right, you ready for my next one?
Infrastructure in the world.
We don't need to go on our cell phone to get into a party, though.
Oh, see, we have to go there. We have to go there. Here's
the thing. Here's the damage control thing. I'm bringing up facts about Microsoft. You're trying to bring in somebody else.
Shit.
Now I can bring in Nintendo. Nintendo's on.
She said, "Don't put no J-dubs. Don't deflect. Don't deflect no J-dubs."
Okay, let's get started. Okay, you want to talk about Nintendo? You want to talk about Nintendo? Okay, you want to talk about Nintendo? Nintendo's online is trash, but Nintendo opened up where we don't have to use our phones for third-party chats. They have integrated chats, and the companies have decided not to use it, or some of them do use it.
Yeah.
So on the multiplayer games that you have to use the phone app for right now, the only game that I know of in that is Smash Brothers. They don't have chat. And Splatoon. They do have it for Splatoon. Okay. All right.
Fuck with Splatoon.
All right. So
I admit that it's trash, and I know that it's trash, and I know that there is online. But the only games I play with online where I need to talk to people is Warframe, and I just plug in a headset into my Switch.
I was wondering why Payday didn't have it. Payday, that was a weird one because it's hard to play Payday without Game Chat.
But like I said, Nintendo opened it up to third parties. If third party wanted to put an integrated chat into their games, they could. Some of them didn't. Payday didn't.
Yeah. All right, so here's my second damage control. So, the servers is just going down because they're upgrading to the Azure. So, certain ones, they have to take the things out and put the new ones in. And, that has to, that has to go offline.
Wait a minute, Microsoft. Okay, so you're going to make the most powerful console in the world for this generation. But you
cell towers go down when they upgrade to 4G and 5G.
But with cell phones and their structure are two totally different things.
It's still servers.
No, servers, but they're two different types of servers.
They gotta take them down and put them up.
Cell phones and 4G is not the same as the landlines.
All right, so
here's two different 4G and 5G. Wait a minute, 4G and 5G are telecommunications.
I was just saying, the only reason why I say that is because I worked in cell phones, and when we were upgrading from 3G to 4G, we did not have service at all until that person was done installing. So that was just all I was saying. It was just a throwaway line.
Microsoft has taps into like the goddamn Pentagon and shit.
So does AT&T and Verizon.
Okay, no, but my point is. They're working with this stuff all the time. You don't think they have a backup server for when something goes down?
All right, so here's my last damage control. I'm done. Are you ready?
But they have a server to begin with.
Oh snap! Oh, see, we have to go there. But stop it. Anyways, my last damage control. The reason why it's going down so much is, even though 360 had more users, right now there's an influx of Xbox users that they didn't anticipate, so they have to compensate for the new subscribers, and they're using the service.
They are selling worse than the Switch. Okay, wait a minute. The console is selling worse than the Switch right now.
Hey, listen.
And the PC users are already on the server.
But our Xbox Live subscriptions are up. Our Xbox Live subscriptions are up.
Yeah, but Xbox Live subscriptions are up, but that's on PC probably. And even if it's also on console,
on PC. It's free on PC.
Oh, they have it free on PC? But the point is Microsoft has one of the biggest servers in the world.
Listen,
they
had to turn them on. They had to turn them on.
PlayStation made a deal with them.
Yeah, they had to get that goddamn Sony contract and I think one AT&T contract.
Yeah, so they had to share. They have to expand.
There's no excuse for it. I pay $60.
You have to take them down to put them up.
A year you pay like around $60, maybe $40 on the low end. There's no excuse for that.
But did you lose money?
Did I lose money? I lost my day worth of gaming. I pay for that shit. That's privilege.
You lost
Were you talking about?
But it wasn't a month.
Bro, there's no excuse.
Yeah, it's not. I have to pull a J-Dub, okay?
100.
Hey man, you're doing a great impression of J-Dub right now. Because J-Dub was the fanboy anything Sony, no matter what.
Yeah, now I'm just messing around, but I still think it's funny.
Spooky as hell about the streaming shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm just waiting on Twitter to implode. That's all I'm doing. Waiting on Twitter.
I like to download my games on PC.
Yeah, that's the part. Like, they can't just turn the switch on and say, okay, now you can download it on PC. It was never made for PC. So therefore, they would have to build the game for a PC.
I'm still debating if they'll even natively put it on PC. They might just say, like, if you want the native experience, buy our console. I think that might be
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. God of War wasn't built to run on a PC, so they would have to go back and do that.
You know when the meltdowns will start? If they put goddamn Days Gone on there, because Days Gone came out this year.
Yeah.
Is that 4K 60?
I wouldn't be surprised if that.
Streaming is 720.
Yes, now. The damage control
I'm talking about on the PlayStation.
Weaker.
Oh, shit. Yeah, buddy.
If that shit goes day and day, bro,
Death Stranding's already going to PC natively. Like,
all the PlayStation ponies, is looking bad because the receipts is out. You said there will never be crossplay. You said there will never be exclusives on PS Now. You said a whole bunch of stuff the past couple years, and I got my J cup.
Survive together.
Wasn't Bloodborne been there?
That shit didn't age well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Needles.
That didn't age well.
Well, Sony is going to have their first party game, which is Stormlands, and I get because of the timing, but they're going to have their first party game, first party game that's going to be a PC exclusive, right? So that just opens the market for them to start having native stuff on PC.
Hey,
it's coming around
that goddamn Epic Store. Who knows?
And then all the ponies that said, Xbox games aren't exclusive because they're on PC. Now you can't say that.
It's over.
It's over.
Like I said,
your game's not exclusive no more either.
So the very last thing they're holding on to is they're not day and date yet. That's the last line.
Yeah,
I just don't see why it's a bad thing.
Because they're talking shit. If they talk shit, they'll be okay.
It's a bad thing for the console war. That's it.
We want to pay $60? Like, you sound fucking stupid.
Yeah, but fanboys don't know how to be anything but.
It's all about arguing chips. I call it arguing chips.
They care more about the company's wallets than their own. They're fucking dumb.
Yep. Shoot, I embrace my dollar game. I embrace my dollar game pass.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Switch, I buy my games because we only get like retro shit in the stuff, and I don't care about retro anyway.
I'm saying if you could get 100 or 200 of those Nintendo games for $2, would you?
No.
As opposed to paying full price for all of them.
It all depends on what the games are. I mean, like, that's the thing. I only buy the games that I truly, truly want. I'm not like some of these people out here who buy every bloody game that comes out for the Switch.
Just say they give you all the Wii games and all the GameCube games and 64 games, and put it.
I don't play retro.
All right, so say it's all mainline Nintendo exclusives being put into a subscription. Say Pokemon, Mario, Luigi games, etc. And they put it into a subscription.
Nintendo will be the last people.
They would be
they barely discount their games.
They don't even put that stuff on sale because Mario Party. I mean, not Mario Party. Mario Kart 8.
Nintendo's never doing day and date shit. They're never doing that, but they could put their older Pokemon games and all of that shit.
Yeah, they're slowly coming.
Give me 64 games. At least give me 64 games.
If they drop 64 on that shit, I'm on that shit.
Yeah, they're going to because they're bringing out Doom 64. Doom 64 is releasing on the Switch.
Give me Killer Instinct. Give me GoldenEye. Give me Star Fox. Give me Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Games is coming on there. So
Rare need to make a reboot of that game, bro.
Well,
that'd be dope.
Rare is going to.
No, they can't. They can't.
They can't.
I want to address.
True Woody.
I want to address True Woody in the chat. True Woody said that they publish DC online, and I'm talking about first party games, not what they published. But you did jog my memory that PlanetSide was their first PC game that they did. Their first PC game that they developed when I think Daybreak Studios did that. So with that being said, yeah, you are right there but what I'm talking about is primarily in this generation, as far as them having games that they're focused, where they focus all of their attention on the. Y'all got to remember, last generation, Sony kind of started what Microsoft is doing last generation. They wanted to be everywhere. Remember when the PlayStation 3 was originally marketed? It was going to control your toaster and open your refrigerator and do all this stuff.
You can install Windows on it.
And then there was other OS that was part of it. So they were doing this play anywhere type thing at the beginning, and it's just with the cell processor, it didn't pan out. So what I'm talking about as far as this generation, primarily, this is going to be their first party game to where it's going to be exclusive to PC.
All of these companies have the same ideas. It's just about when they implement it.
How they're going to exactly.
Because like a lot of the stuff that Xbox does or did or wanted to do will be perfectly fine in 2019, not in 2013.
Right.
Like always on and DRM and selling your digital game. I wish I could sell so many digital games to somebody else. That would be dope. But no, the Outlash, and then they had to take it back.
And True Witty, thank you for bringing up DC Universal Online because I need to see how big it is for my Switch.
I don't think that's DC Universe. That's not a first party developer on that.
No, because that's for the Xbox too, ain't it?
Yeah,
it's on everything. They just bought it to Switch, but I totally forgot they bought it to Switch.
No, but again,
what they should do
to that point is PlanetSide, which you didn't mention. True Woody, but have a good night. I don't know some of these people out here. Big up to King Flash. With that being said, it's gonna be an interesting thing. But like I said, you guys cannot die on this hill because my bro Nethos is here. We're all here. I got the receipts, and I'm going. It is good that King Thrash. I'm going to do a King Thrash-esque podcast. I'm going for 4 hours straight. No water, no chaser, none of that. I'm not gonna take. I'm gonna wear a diaper. I'm gonna shit where I sit. I'm going to do nothing but call name. I'm gonna shoot and take names later. So please don't down this hill because if I don't have the receipts, my bro Nethos is going to have them.
Nethos gonna have the receipt.
I got my pony cup of receipts. The J cup, I got it.
Yeah.
Man. King Thrash is definitely. See, look. Like Mr. Righteous Fish. Right. See, Thrash the link. What link? Ain't no damn link. This ain't Google Hangouts no more.
I'm the old man, Mr. Righteous Fish. What the hell you talking about? That's 2018, bro.
Yeah. So, I know Thrash is. I know King Thrash is one of the guys that don't believe they're going to go day and date. But whatever, man. Like we talked about this shit already.
They have to catch up.
Yeah. So anyway, hey y'all, check this out.
So wait. Speaking of Thrash, is it weird that Windows is making a phone with Google?
Oh shit! Why you have to do that, man?
I'm just saying. Man. I heard I saw the thing. It was Windows 10X.
Shit,
Stop it, man. Stop it.
That duo phone.
I thought we were on gaming here, people.
Look,
hey, Snowbunny, like y'all been talking phones too damn much today.
Yeah, she don't want to hear that shit.
They're becoming one, the ecosystem.
Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh shit.
Gears pop.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all know what time it is, right?
Up.
Y'all know what time it is, right?
You know what time it is.
I'm not able to refresh my memory.
All right, yeah. I mean, let me refresh your memory then, brother.
It's the motherfucking Swiss Report.
Oh shit.
With my girl, Snow Bunny.
Hey, bro, you're going to have to do that again. That didn't work.
I thought it was me.
That motherfucker sound like Herbie Hancock.
It did. Oh, shit.
I might be having an aneurysm.
Exactly.
Damn, it'll never work right.
We got to get you a soundboard, bro.
Yeah, I need a sound. That's what I need. Damn soundboard.
Yeah, run that back.
Shit, hold on. Let's fuck this shit, man.
Oh, man. All right. The Switch Report. Okay, go ahead.
Nobody.
Time for some.
I need a soundboard. That's what I need.
Yeah, only thing I'm gonna just talk about 3 major things that's right now going on. The first thing is, do you guys remember back here when people were complaining about the Switch drift? And last week I had said that the Switch Lite was starting to affect with drift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you remember the class action lawsuit that was going on with it? It's been modified. The class action lawsuit now includes everybody who owns a Switch in North America, everybody who's purchased a Switch Lite, and everybody who's purchased just Joy-Cons.
Damn.
And they are saying that it's because Nintendo is selling defective products.
Oh shit.
So that it's becoming a dumpster fire, it looks like so far. And
I was watching somebody and they were like, this is like the red ring of death for Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was me. I put on there, says this Nintendo's red ring of death, because remember with Xbox 360, it was still the most popular console out there with the red ring of death, and the reason is because they had tons of games to back up that.
Oh shit.
I mean,
they survived that shit, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like right now, Nintendo is having all these issues with the Joy-Con drifts, and Joy-Cons are not cheap. I mean, a pair of Joy-Cons is like $80. And if one of them go down, you try to buy just one Joy-Con, you still at a $40-50.
Can you even buy one Joy-Con?
If you buy them used, and you're afraid to buy them used, traded in at GameStop, because 9 times out of 10 people traded them in because they had Joy-Con drift. Right. So right now that class, I'm monitoring what's going on there, but there are more cases coming out of people with. One guy was saying after 20 hours his Switch Lite started having Joy-Con drift.
Damn.
So
how is it after 20 hours?
6 hours?
20 hours.
I'd be mad as hell.
Still. Damn.
So it's something going on. Don't know what Nintendo's going to do. They were saying that Nintendo was in a revision, but after people started digging through the what was put up with the FCC, it looks like it's actually just maybe a Switch Lite. What is that? A Switch Lite demo kit. For developers, because some of the games are having a couple issues with like text and things on the Switch Lite that plays normally on the Switch and handheld. Second thing I'm going to talk about is so you guys know Mario Kart Tour has been getting some press lately because
it's a Mario Kart Tour. Is that a game?
That's the mobile. It's the mobile game.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know shit about Nintendo.
Yeah, it's a mobile game, and people were complaining about like you have to purchase Mario, and there's a lot of YouTube videos about the microtransactions in the game. And my whole thing about it is in my opinion, the game was not targeting us gamers; it was targeting the casuals.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think putting on mobile says that from the beginning.
Exactly. That tells you that. Yeah.
But if you look on YouTube right now, there's a lot of like gaming and gaming channels who are putting out a lot of information. It's also got a very bad Metacritic score, things like that. But
wait, Bunny, why we talking about mobile?
Because part of the Switch report, and this is part of Nintendo. But here's the thing: the mobile game, even with all the negative press and everything, in the first week it had 90 million unique downloads.
Man. I mean, it's not no Gears Pop, but I understand. Yeah.
Okay. And they're saying that
4.3 on the iOS market, on the Apple Store market, whatever.
And they're saying that it's one of Nintendo's fastest mobile games. And they've made within the first week 12.7 million.
Ooh, and you see why people want to go in the mobile market?
Yeah. They make money. The investors.
Yeah.
Investors is like, money is money.
Right, exactly. And that's the reason they did this. But even though it's getting the negative press about the microtransactions, it seems like it's doing pretty decent.
It's just like 2K and FIFA. People still won't buy it.
So is the game free? Is the game free?
It's free to play, but it has microtransactions to make the game better.
Or you can pay
$4.99. Yeah, it's like $4.99 a month if you get.
So it's a pay to win. Yeah, so I just don't understand. Listen. I mean,
and they block a game mode, like you get like extra fast game.
Still, like we were saying earlier, Mars. Why people still crying about microtransactions, man?
Because I only cry about it. I only cry about it if it's pay to win, and a lot of mobile games are pay to win.
On the multiplayer game, yeah,
like I love Gears Pop until I got to this point where I was just getting my ass beat, and I felt like I needed to buy something to help me, and I was like, you know what? Let me stop. Because this is the rabbit hole that they want me to fall in. So I enjoyed the game for what it was, a dope game. But once I felt like I was like too outmatched, and I felt like I had to buy something, I had to stop.
You can't make it without buying something. Yeah.
Well, you can, but once everybody has stronger powers than. No, it's just that everybody you play against is so overpowered that you have to be very, very skilled or lucky, or you have to like get more powerful. And you can't really just do that without paying or playing for a really, really long time and luckily getting a card and stacking them up and making them more powerful. So anything pay to win, I'm not really with it. I'm fine with microtransactions. I'm fine with microtransactions, but not anything that affects the game.
I agree.
Microtransactions that are only cosmetic.
Well, like here's the thing, man.
DLC I'm fine with too.
Here's what I feel about it. I'm gonna use two games as an example. Mass Effect 3, which I feel like had a very great multiplayer PvE mechanic. They had microtransactions, but it wasn't pay to win because regardless of how many items you bought, and you bought in-game items, how many items you bought, if you sucked at the game, it didn't matter. You may have bought like health packs and shit to give temporary boost to your weapons and stuff like that, but you know, it wasn't going to help you if you were trash. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
kind of like Halo 5. It was a convenience.
It was to keep you in the game. I'm gonna give you another example. Now, more recently, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Ghost Recon Breakpoint gives you in currency money that allows you to buy weapons and stuff like that. They don't advertise that heavy. I didn't even know that this store existed at this level until I got into a back and forth, a kind back and forth with Jay Fonzarelli, where he showed me this guy that did this video on the shit, and the guy was sitting there talking about this shit. And I'm like, you're talking about this more than you're talking about the fucking game. Like, nobody even knows that this shit exists.
Was it Skill Ups?
It's the Skill Ups. He's a dumbass. This is the outrage culture. And with the outrage culture, I get it, even with the Nintendo thing, and we're going to get back to the Switch report, but even with the Nintendo thing, look, joysticks are drifted and there's class action lawsuits. Remember when the Red Ring of Death happened? Motherfuckers traded in their box and was going with the flow. Everybody wants to find a reason to get together and pick it and walk across the Alabama bridge. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the nature of how things are right now. And as consumers and as gamers, we can't follow into that idiot herd. We got to look at things decisively, cut things down with a scalpel, and know what's real and what's fictitious. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think you see a lot of this shit happening now. Period.
Go ahead, Snow Bunny, and continue.
And the third thing I'm going to talk about is the Famitsu report released in Japan for the week of the 23rd to the 29th of September. And The Legend of Zelda was knocked out of his first place position on top selling game in Japan by Dragon Quest XI Echoes of Elusive Age, the definitive edition. Its first week.
The remake?
Huh?
Is that a remake?
No, it's the PS4 version was released 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's the one. Okay.
And they ported it to the Switch, but the Switch version has a bunch of extra content in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that kind of stuff happens all the time, though, right?
Yeah.
It's
Game of the Year edition.
Well, no, it's not even that. The stuff that's in the Switch version of the game will never be on the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Because the Dragon Quest XI was published by Nintendo, whereas the PlayStation 4 and the PC versions, I believe, were published by Square Enix.
That's it's worth it then, because if you're gonna publish it, give it a little bit to your fan base.
Exactly, because
that's what I wish Microsoft would do with like a Bleeding Edge or not Bleeding Edge. Outer World and stuff like that, even though it's coming to multiple platforms, if they could throw a bone to the original publishers, yeah.
But Dragon Quest, it was released on the 27th, so last Friday, between the 23rd and 29th. So basically, they had like a 2 to 3 days from the 27th to 29th. It debuted at selling 303,204 units.
Just there?
In Japan alone.
Oh wow. Okay.
It knocked Legend of Zelda from the top spot down to the 4th place, and the Link's Awakening came out on the 20th. And to date, it's only sold 187,150 units.
That's surprising.
Yeah. But Code Vein in Japan was number 2 debuting for PS4. Atelier Ryza was number 3 on PS4. It sold better on the PS4 in Japan than the Switch version. The Switch version was number place. And FIFA 20 on the PlayStation 4 was in number 6 place. So it's FIFA 20 on the PlayStation 4 was in 4th place. I mean 6th place, and it's a new release.
Hey,
that's
buddy,
surprising because everywhere else in the world, FIFA's number 1.
Yeah. Can I say something right quick? Hey, Stevens, don't you start it. Don't start it. Screw John. He thought he'd be on the fool, man. I'm sorry, it's nobody. I had to say something.
Yeah, that's all I'm reporting in the Switch report this week. But those were like 3 of the biggest things going on right now.
So, do you think that it didn't sell well because it was a remake? Because it wasn't like a Link?
Link? No, it's just that that's what is selling so far right now. It might not have been one that people were just super interested in Japan. Because it might have been because it was a remake.
But Zelda is such a beloved thing in Japan. I figured that it would do better. So my only
you got to think about Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is nothing like any other Zelda.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, you have throwbacks in it to Super Mario. There's a whole bunch of cameos from different franchises in Link's Awakening. So it's not like a traditional Zelda.
Do you think people were like a little hesitant because it was $60?
Possibly. That's a very good possibility. That they were just like, I'm not going to pay that much for a short game that's a remake. That's a very good possibility.
Yeah. I wonder what it was in, like, do you have the numbers of like what they did in
the rest of the world? No, I don't have those numbers yet. I'm waiting till I think the NPD at the end of this month will show those numbers for and this was right here just physical copy. this report does not include digital. This is just physical alone.
Yeah. All right.
So we don't know what the digital sales were.
All right. That's it, Snow Bunny. That's all of the Switch
That's it
report
for this week. Yep.
All right. That was the
microtransaction
of the motherfucking Switch report. Hey man, 280 man, come on, bro. Game Pass. Okay, don't say shit. Hey, Shawn Layden already said they're gonna have more. Or I know he's gone, but he said they're gonna have more multiplayer games next generation. So don't start. There's gonna be so many receipts.
The Ghost of Shawn
Layden. I got them. M2K got them. Everybody got these damn receipts, man. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead.
We coming for you, nigga.
We coming for you, nigga. We coming for you, nigga. All right, let's get to this last topic. You know what? It's actually an update, but let's get to this last topic. Will the PS5 and Project Scarlett have cameras? Well, there was a report saying that Microsoft is working on a 4K camera. They didn't say it was going to be bundled with the Project Scarlett. I know some people were trying to say that, but they didn't say that. But they said they're working on a 4K camera. And also Sony's working on a camera, but it's going to be some bootleg shit like a Polaroid or something. Well, anyway, what do you guys think about this? First off, hold on. I sound like Willie D. Oh, hell no, nigga. I see he's a ball here. Oh. No, but anyway,
hey yo, don't drop that God degree. Do not do it.
So you say what, Moss?
I said don't drop that God degree on him. They don't know nothing about no Willie D.
Yeah. And but we old as shit if we know about Willie D. But anyway,
Willie D, yeah.
These Nikes, they don't know nothing about that. Man.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I'm from the ghetto. I ain't no. All right, let me go ahead. Jazz Corden this tweeted an update about this whole Microsoft having the camera thing. He said Microsoft told Gizmodo that the report was false. They rarely offer flat-out denials unless it's completely untrue. So it seems like Gizmodo may have received bogus info. Microsoft is denying that they're working on a 4K camera for Project Scarlett.
I'm impartial to that. I do think there's a camera coming. I don't think it's going to be per the information that we have. I don't think it's going to be.
It might not even be first party. It might be third party.
I don't think it's going to be It's going to be like a Connect 3.0. I don't believe that. I think they have this camera in there for streaming purposes. There's a lot of behind the scenes shit that I've been looking at, and I've been chatting.
Which doesn't make sense because right now you can buy a 4K web camera and plug it into your Xbox and it works.
Right.
But some people don't want to. But some people might not want that extra expense because you guys know a decent streaming camera can cost quite a bit of money.
Well, yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is they're working on a 4K camera. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because they already exist and they can already just work with the current Xbox.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's a good point.
That's true. I think
it sounds like a pony trying to deflect. Well, I think J-Dub put it out there.
I see. This is where what J-Dubs is trying to do is he's trying to make it sound like it's going to be Connect 3.0 where there's going to be specific games. Right. Make it seem like
motion games.
I don't think it's going to be all that. I don't know if it's a 4K camera. Oh damn! Noah finally showed up. I don't know if it's going to be a 4K camera, but I think it's not beyond the realm of possibility the camera's going to be. You got to remember they have Mixer. So to combat Stadia trying to integrate Google, they might include a camera that's not going to, take too many resources to combat what Google Stadia is going to do. You got to remember, Microsoft is they're agitated by PlayStation, but they're really leery of what Stadia is going to do. If you got to look, and every time Microsoft has done something the last year or two, it's been a knee-jerk reaction to what Stadia is doing. So being that Stadia is going to integrate YouTube, this might be their way of better integrating Mixer. You know what I'm saying? On the camera.
Yeah, I see. Like, if they do a camera, they're gonna have some more extra shit to it, like you just kind of like alluded to, Moss. Mm-hmm. It's not just gonna be a basic 4K camera. It's gonna be a basic 4K camera with voice command and you're gonna be, with
see it in the dark
Snapchat filter, Snapchat filters and all kind of shit. You know, I mean, I think it's definitely possible though. If they do it, they damn sure better not bundle that shit. But they better not bundle that shit.
Listen, every system has come out with a camera. They had the PS3 with it. They had 360s with it.
True,
cameras do exist every generation. So I think there will be a camera, but I don't think it's gonna be like a Connect type situation.
No, and it better be sold separately, which I think Microsoft is smart enough to know not to do that shit.
Or if they put it in there, it better be free.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, Noah.
Who is that?
No 6 gamer in the building. My tech guy, my IT guy.
What's good, bro? What's good?
Yo, if you didn't see my stream last night, please watch it because these guys were going at it. It was so entertaining.
It was headshot after headshot. It was funny, and no one mowing over people.
Yeah.
Weren't you mowing over J-Dub?
I ain't get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, fun.
But so
Moss was on there late. I hopped back in the chat. Y'all was going. Moss was playing.
Yeah,
he's till like 2 a.m. I was like, damn,
he was like
2 a.m.
Sleep.
I was asleep, man. Sleep. But so they said Sony might have a camera too, but that might be for VR. So I mean, like you said, Tsunami, it's definitely possible that the camera would be there because there's always been a camera since the PS3, Xbox 360 generation. But
camera's not expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not a basic camera. If it's a basic,
like you can get a webcam. Yeah, you can get a webcam for like $50 and then be decent, like a decent one right now. 4K is cheap now.
If you're paying $50 for a camera, it probably costs them $15 or $20 to make it.
Maybe even 10 and shit. You know
Speaking
what I'm
saying?
They got these GoPro knockoffs for like $30 that do 4K.
Speaking of 4K, I was in Sam's Club the other day. Man, they had a 65-inch TV, 4K TV for like $300. No. I'm good on TVs, but they was like $300 for a 65-inch. I'm like, damn.
What brand?
TCL, I believe.
TCL, had to be.
Yeah,
TCL makes decent TVs,
they do,
but not the Sam's Club ones. If you want to buy TCL, go to Amazon, go to Best Buy. Don't go to Walmart. Don't go to Sam's Club.
Y'all got ABC Warehouse where y'all live, or is that just a Michigan thing?
Nah, we don't got it.
Okay, that's a Michigan thing. Okay.
Yeah, we got BJ's and we got
Hey, they just built the BJ's by my house, bro. I ain't never heard of the shit. I thought it was a food
we had it
restaurant.
since I was a kid.
Yeah, they just built one by my house.
BJ's and Sam's Club.
BJ, so like BJ's is kind of like a Sam's Club, kind of like sort of.
Yeah,
basically.
Okay, yeah.
Lowe's, Home Depot.
Because I was like, oh shit, BJ's. What the fuck is a BJ's?
Nah, it's just it might be some East Coast shit, but
Pause.
I just took it for granted.
Pause. What?
Yeah.
You said, what the fuck is a BJ?
Oh damn!
Ain't none of us adults here.
That was late.
Ain't no adult here except for Bunny.
Oh shit! Hey man, put a BJ's right by me too. I wanted to check it out.
I want to check out BJ out.
What has happened to Scram Punks?
What these BJ's about?
Right.
I want that BJ's just as good.
Hell no, man. That's crazy.
Now, that crossplay. You might lose all the ponies. Might jump off.
Oh yeah. That was actually the last topic. Before we got out of here, that crossplay shit, man. So, okay, y'all. All right, listen. Now, what is it, y'all? Since Shawn Layden gone, all this shit happening within days, like
floodgates releasing.
Yeah, what's going on? What's? Hey, man, Mr. Righteousness is a damn freak, man.
Ain't he? Righteousness is a freak, man. Freaky deaky. Yeah, he probably like Rick James and shit.
Hey, Heath Stevens, man, come on with the junk box frauds. Hey, man, show some respect, Heath. Show some damn respect.
You got to respect on the box. Minecraft is top 5 top selling on the PlayStation 4, and it's top 3 in most played.
Oh, come on, Devin, don't do that, man.
Oh shit,
don't do that.
Is that the only first party game?
Is Minecraft crossplay?
Everything is now. Shit, probably.
Yeah, it probably would be now.
Moving forward, everything gonna be so. Anyway,
well, it's gonna be hard because there's the Java edition. There's so many editions, so it might be, but I don't know right now.
Well,
all I know is I think Jim Ryan is pretty cool. Like,
but wasn't Jim Ryan against it though? Wasn't he against crossplay at one point?
From what it seems, I think Shawn Layden was against
Shawn
it. Jim
Layden,
Ryan is for it. Because think about it, as soon as Shawn
Layden was
butt kissing. Jim had made one of his Joe Biden foot in the mouth statements about crossplay. Said he had to protect the kids like Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? But so I think what it was, I think it was a mix of both. I think Shawn Layden was all about crossplay and some of the kumbaya stuff, but he was not down with the cloud service. He felt like that giving value to his consumers was paramount in the physical form. You know what I'm saying? Where Jim Ryan didn't like the crossplay aspect because he wanted everybody to get PlayStations, but at the same time, he thought that cloud gaming would help branch out PlayStation's bottom line. You see what I'm saying? So there was a little bit of both of them that you could like.
He was being a company guy.
Yeah, but Jimmy done had a change of heart, man. Reading some of the,
he want to keep his job.
True.
You want to keep. It's probably Yoshida, honestly.
Hey, Phil got power, bro. Hey, Phil make some calls and pull some strings behind this.
Now come on, guys. This is the future. Yeah, that was Phil. This is the future, guys.
You seen that meme where it was dusted and Phil was the only one left?
Yeah, I saw that shit.
I feel so good, Spencer.
Hey, y'all, so what y'all think about this? True Witty in the chat said the Outer Worlds will sell more on PlayStation than players on Xbox Game Pass.
That's not true because it's free. We don't have to pay for it.
It doesn't really matter.
We would never know now, will we? We would never know now, because that's not their numbers.
True, really, I wouldn't take that bet because Game Pass is on PC now.
I was gonna say that.
And Obsidian is a PC developer. They're PC developing god. So I wouldn't take that bet, bro. Anybody cap it on Obsidian, I get Compulsion and all these other developers, but cap it on Obsidian and anything they do on PC, that's a losing battle. Don't do it.
It's not the hill you want to die on, Chief.
Don't die on that hill, bro.
Yeah. Outer World looks amazing. I'm looking forward to it.
Don't tell Moss.
Hey, you know what?
Moss gonna play it. He gonna be conflicted.
I don't know, man.
I thought the graphics looked like shit until like the last trailer I saw. It ain't look as bad. I don't know if they was running on PC the last trailer. How you say what? Yeah,
it's gonna look amazing on PC.
Yeah, it ain't look that bad last trailer I saw, so I'm definitely interested. Even though I don't like Fallout, but thank God for Game Pass.
It reminds me of Borderlands, like the art.
Oh hell no! Don't do that, bro. Don't do that.
The cartoony look kind of remind me of
Borderlands. Fallout maybe the generic version lands border, but don't look like no Borderlands, man.
It look better than Fallout 76, fuck nigga.
That motherfucking game looks different than the BJs we was talking about earlier.
Oh shit! Don't be back on BJs. Oh shit!
I see the game in motion. My only concern is like the NPCs. I hope there's like.
That's what I'm getting.
I hope the world feels alive.
No, it doesn't. I saw Gamertag Radio and two other places do 40-minute gameplays, and the world didn't feel alive. That was my problem.
Will you try it out though, Moss, with Game Pass?
I have to.
Yeah, I got you. You want to see the world?
He feel conflicted. He feel conflicted because he might like it. He might like it. And he's gonna have to turn tail. And say, you know what, guys? I was wrong.
Fresh Prince say
I was wrong. Video.
What was Fresh Prince saying in the back of the day? Dirt. Of course not. I don't know, man.
Shit. True Witty, man. Hey, man, I was wrong with you tonight. Man, you on your shit tonight, man. You really trying to bash the Xbox hard, bro.
Heck yeah, man. They do what you do.
Hi, FC.
FC showed up late. All right, y'all. So that's all I got, man. I don't want to talk about nothing else. It's past
what about Flight Simulator, bro? Ain't nobody talking about it. Flight Simulator.
Flight Simulator?
That game looks fucking amazing. I don't care.
I told Jay,
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The only reason I will play Flight Simulator is to look at the graphics one time.
Exactly.
Oh my god, this shit looks amazing.
They said that you can fly on the whole Earth, and they use satellite visions. So I said, Jay, I'm gonna fly to your house and see if you really got all them cars.
They upgraded it. I mean, it's always been a super popular game on PC from the 90s. It was always like Flight Simulator is like what FIFA is today minus the microtransactions.
Don't let Noah fool you. Noah gonna try to get his pilot license.
Yeah, man, the graphics was amazing on that game.
I just think the graphics,
it's crazy.
He gonna get a whole rig.
They said that I heard that major publications were gritting their teeth because they were assigned to go see this, and then they came back stunned and surprised at how good it looks. Mm-hmm. And they said that there were hints that it's coming to Xbox sooner than a lot of us may anticipate. So, I mean, I wonder if it'll be part of, I doubt it'll be part of Game Pass, but
it's part of Game Pass.
Yeah, it's gonna be part of Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
I know it's going to be on PC. Part of the PC.
They said what they do is they use Bing satellite imagery to model your house in the spot that it's supposed to be. So it's not going to look exactly like your house, but it will be there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they said the technology is amazing. So,
well, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I don't know how
it's gonna look fucking amazing.
Google World hasn't even updated what my house looks like yet.
like even in the alpha footage, you're just like, damn.
No, I live in a city, but when I moved into my house, I had to have this huge tree cut down. And if you whenever I go on Google World and look at my house, the tree is still there, so they haven't even updated anything lately.
You on Street View? Are you on Street View?
No, I'll be on the overhead view.
Nah, because like Street View, my car's in the driveway. I said this is creepy.
Oh wow!
Yeah, man, they had my dog. Like my mother-in-law was outside with the dog and shit. So every time I look at my house, I still see them niggas.
Hey, you ever see them cars with the little circle camera on the top?
Yeah. I saw one not so long ago.
360 cameras.
Those pictures. Yeah.
Hey, y'all, guess what though?
What?
It's time to go and get out of here.
It's time to get the hell out of here.
Don't forget to sub.
Yeah, don't forget to sub. Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. Share it out,
bro.
So we're about to get out of here. First off,
hold on, Mr. Righteous, you.
Oh damn, bro!
Has me cheating on my wife on it.
Oh shit! Who the fuck cars in the driveway? Is that bitch? With the red Honda?
Right. Like, who car is that?
This dude is stupid, man.
Like, no, that was Amazon dropping off some shit. Right there parking the driveway.
That was Postmates.
Hey, Dark Lord Fusion, thank you, I guess. Motherfucker said, good show, Dirt, you fuck nigga. Damn.
Sub to the hey, look, man, spread the good word. If y'all could do us a huge favor and just simply say, hey, look, Xbox guys, please, please sub the Dirt, man. Dirt be out here fighting a good fight. Y'all hear him on Xbox Nation, man. I think it's a fraud of the community that he's not at 1,000 subs. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? I really think it speaks a lot. It makes the community look bad that Dirt's not at 1,000 subs. So
just say fuck Xbox once and you get like 100 subscribers and then come back.
Yeah,
like fucking Xbox that piss me off, gay.
Yeah. Just do hashtag Xbox guys and say sub the Dirt. True Xbox guy hashtag. You know what I'm saying?
True Xbox guys.
I need the next video to be.
He's Stevenson Xbox guy.
I was wrong. I was wrong about PlayStation. PlayStation exclusives are way better than anything I've played on Xbox.
Do you play with your friends?
A crap salty.
I'm sorry. Do you play with your friends?
No, he was joking. He was joking.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep the little subs I got, or maybe I will get some more PS fucking part. I got a lot of ponies following me already. Shit.
You got
damn Fonz, you coming late, bro? Everybody coming late. Y'all to the show, man.
I guess we gotta do another hour.
Yeah, shit, I gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm on the East Coast. Shit, it's midnight.
Me too.
Yeah, and it's out of the question for some buns. It's out of the question.
Wait. Is y'all BJ's 24 hour?
Hey, you know what? I don't know if the BJ's 24 hours. It might have to be a
That's the good ones. That's the good
ones. I don't know if you would want to try those.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's the good ones. Anything you want.
Well, anyway,
for the low.
Oh, man, crazy.
Exclusive.
Hey, Mars, man, what you got going on, man? Got a video
Ghost Recon. Hey, no, we doing that Ghost Recon, bro. So our homie Fonz can watch it. We gonna do that.
Yeah.
Fonz, thanks for showing up, bro, man. Wish you could say a little bit earlier, man. I'd love to get you on the show one day, too.
Hey. So if you want to see somebody rage out, go ahead and hop on Mars channel after this.
All right.
I'll be in the background talking shit.
Yeah.
Keep up with me, Moss.
Snow Bunny. You got anything like coming up? You know, you got anything special going on? Like what pony podcast like are you gonna be on this week?
I have no idea. I'll just get a message in my Twitter say, "Hey, would you like to come on?"
Oh damn! Damn, this girl blowing up, guys.
Superstar, man.
Yeah, hey,
superstar.
I was kind of shocked about that when I got the invite. And because like I said, I was shocked, and then last week they were like, "Yeah, come on." They were like, "Do you own a PlayStation?" I was like, "No, I only have a Switch." Look, come on. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Do we have any that J-Tech guy? Does he have any Xbox guys on this show?
I'm not sure.
Actually, Xbox guys.
He had crap on it. That counts.
Yeah, maybe he had crap on that one.
Trash and everything. I couldn't.
You said trash? Damn.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
You know, there's some Xbox channels, Xbox podcasts that don't base their content on bashing PlayStation. Like mine, I don't bash PlayStation because I enjoy the PlayStation, right? Then there's
even RDX.
Yeah, right. They don't bash PlayStation, but then there's some Xbox podcasts on Xbox channels. Their content is bashing PlayStation, and the same thing with PlayStation channels are their content is bashing Xbox. I can't rock out with a PlayStation channel like that. Just me personally. I mean, it's cool.
You rock out with GRG.
It's always in their mouth.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, like they straight, they alright. But RDX is my favorite Xbox focus podcast. You know, right now.
Besides here,
of course.
Besides here.
Hold on, Dirk. Look. I love Tim Dog. Tim is my homie, but Tim is the number one PlayStation flamer out there in the world, man. You can't tell me.
But he don't say much about PlayStation.
He don't say nothing on RDX.
Shit. On RDX, he don't though.
He don't say nothing. And hey, look, man, that's crazy, man. No, but with that being said, yeah,
that's in the DMs.
That's the problem. I think that's the problem with PlayStation, and it makes me with the PlayStation channel, which makes me leery. Like, you don't hear Netflix still talking about Blockbuster, right? So you hear that PlayStation people say that Xbox is dead, but they're still they talk about Xbox all the time. I don't get it.
Right.
So you know, it's bewildering to me, but I'm pretty sure there might be some PlayStation centric channels out there.
It's like talking about full circle. That's like Apple talking about Android. They don't do that. They don't gotta do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
like
what is Jaden saying?
What is Jaden saying?
Everything.
Oh, I'm sorry. What you say, buddy?
I'm saying that you forget one thing. A lot of these people have already turned this into a full-time job. So the moment they start losing subs, they're going to do something so that they can keep the money flowing.
Nah, Crap's still losing followers.
He's still losing.
Yeah, but compared,
that's why BGST coming back.
But they compared to 863, like Dirt has 863 subscribers compared to 58,000. Yeah. He got a long way to go before he get below 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he was at 60, but yeah.
Don't unsubscribe now.
Crap eating dog poop by day. And bashing Xbox.
Now you see what Heath Stevens said. He said Crab a fraud. Now Crab does invite me on this podcast every Wednesday, so I ain't gonna talk shit about him.
That don't make it show good.
True. Shit. But I told him, I said, Crab, man, these ponies might not accept you like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? And of course the Xbox guys, we like.
Hold on, what Matt said, Moss? Didn't you put out the tweet saying ever since Crap was a pony, PlayStation been dying?
I was sitting in my room taking my Geritol, and I heard the special SOS over the airwaves, and it was like, I don't know who it was from. They was like, hey, let the ponies know. Get rid of Crap Gaming right now. They would start listening to all this shit.
I wonder who that was.
I don't know.
Time to go. Hey, yo, Tsunami, you can't come back on this motherfucker.
I don't know if you put that shit in the DM. I don't know. All right,
it was in the DM? Oh, shit.
So, hey, Tsunami, you got something going on, bro? Or you just be on Z podcast talking shit, huh?
I'm doing some research and trying to build this PC with Noah and Moss, knowledge. So I'm trying to become a half PC guy at some point, so I can have my Game Pass games, my Game Pass games and stuff.
Hey, but look, let me tell you this, Dirt. Like he asked for my input, right? Like, hey, look, you don't need all that, man. You just need this right here. He's like, nah, but I looked at reviews and this is the best one. I'm like, bro, what you trying to do? Power a whole neighborhood? Like you just trying to play games and edit videos, right?
I'm an elitist.
I saw a PC that was already built. Like was $3,000. I was like, that should be costing that much. Like,
not if you build it yourself, and you'll save like if it's $3,000, you could probably build that same PC for like $20.
The shit had to look cold as hell though. But anyway,
that's J-Dub.
But a lot of that's labor.
I'm gonna start a podcast called
The Last. To be like, what the fuck was wrong with you? When you bought that thing?
She put the emphasis on fuck.
I'm trying to start a podcast for all Xbox guys called The Last of
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, right?
The Last of Us podcast.
Right.
Full spin.
Hey, I'm down. Give me on that.
Devin, yeah, I'll be down. Hey, Devin, bro, you got something going on, man? Hey, we gotta do another video, bro.
I'm probably finna hop on Xbox and I'm finna watch Moss channel.
Oh, okay.
Check them out. That's pretty much going on for tonight.
Sounds good. Noah, thanks for joining us late, brother. Better late than never, like Xbox buying up studios. Better late than never, right?
Just like my job, bro. I have to come in late,
There you go. Hey, man, don't be like the mother.
I was up playing games. I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm up playing games. I'm playing Ghost Recon all night. All right, give me alone.
Yeah. Hey, man, how y'all playing it already? I thought it'll come out to Friday.
Early access shit.
Oh, okay, cool.
All these subscriptions.
Man, I pay about $60 a month and shit. Subscription.
Hey,
you gotta cancel cable. You do good.
Shit, I'll be watching. That's all my sports come on cable and shit. NBA.
Hey, listen, I got logins for you, B.
Oh, you got YouTube TV?
Huh?
YouTube TV? No, I got YouTube Premium.
Man, y'all sleeping on YouTube TV, man.
Nah, I want it, but I don't want it.
It's just like $40 a month, bro. You can
$40 a month. Shit.
You can share.
I used to have DirecTV Now.
No.
I used to have DirecTV Now. It was $35 and I had every channel and HBO. I'm mad I gave it up.
Yeah, YouTube TV, bro. You can share with 3 other people, bro.
Oh, for real?
Oh, I'm
Hey, y'all niggas talking about TV, nigga. I'm trying to go to bed, bro. All right, y'all. We about to get out of here.
All right,
we broke 12.
Damn.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank everybody that stopped by tonight. Everybody, even late. Like the Almighty God, thanks for coming through. Mr. Righteous Fresh. Fonz, thanks for coming, bro. I appreciate it, man. Fatal.
Fonz said he wants to come on the show. So
Heath Stevens with your pony ass.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, bro. I might name everybody. All right, peace and love, y'all.
Everybody.